BDF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, the weekend's almost here. It's a fabulous Friday. Nice to have you aboard on this final day of September. So good that you're with us. We'll be busy. Glenn Rogers Jr. will drop by at 10:25. We'll talk high school football. Lots of games around the Mid-South tonight. And by the way, I think, it's really going to be nice when those games starts in the low 70s. But it's going to be chilly when the game is over. So my recommendation to you is bring a sweater, bring a little coat, whatever, because it's going to get cool at the end of the game. And then we'll talk some NBA with our agent from Chicago. That, of course, is Andy Schiffman from Priority Sports. So we're busy today. We are in a few minutes. The Pick Six at 10:06. We'll make our college football predictions. I'll talk a little bit about the Tigers and Temple as well. Last day I mentioned of the month, and it always gets interesting in the NFL. We have our Thursday night football game. I wonder if Amazon is selling a lot of their deals because they really want you to join so you can basically buy from them. But this is a good way to get you to buy by joining their deal. You get free delivery if you get Prime, right? And it's not that expensive. So you do it, and wow, you can watch Thursday night football. This is complicated. This Tua Tagovailoa story. I don't think it's simple. I hear some people, national pundits, saying it's clear he should not have been playing in the game. It's not clear. It's not clear at all. It was clear last night he was hurt. When you do your fingers that way, as I think Al said, he got some sort of a text probably from a neurologist that is a sign of neurological trauma. Trauma between either the neck or the spine, and your fingers have a response the way Tua's did. So let's go back the week before Miami is playing Buffalo. Tua, in what looks to be a rather innocuous little shove, gets knocked backwards. He hits the back of his helmet on the turf. You know that at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium now, there's a new turf. With that new turf is this new technology that softens the blows, particularly for your head. Now, I don't know if this would have meant if Tua had been playing in Memphis, this would not have occurred. But I would suspect if this technology that the Simmons Bank Thomas Carrier, who heads that stadium, was talking about, that if that technology is as good as they say, that should be in every NFL stadium. If it's going to, stop the head injuries. Or what they do in practice is they call those gloves, those little padded things that go over the helmet.
The Guardian.
They say that's supposed to cut down concussions 50%. Why are they not wearing those? I don't understand that. But Tua gets knocked down in this innocuous sort of shove, off balance, hits his head. Gets up, and then when he gets up, he can't stay up. Here's where it gets really tricky. He goes, and everybody says, Tua says, the doctors say, the Dolphins say, he cleared concussion protocol. Okay? They even said, I think Tua said it, it wasn't even a concussion. It was his back, he said. It was somewhere in the back was out of whack, and that's why he was losing his balance. Now, I don't know that I buy that, but that's what they said.
And I could say from watching his press conference, too, and it's not to say he also didn't have a head injury, but he was walking with someone that had a stiff / broken back out onto the podium. He had his back wrapped, and as he left, he also walked very stiffly. Now, could be a great actor. He could have also had a head injury, but it appears
he could have had both.
He could have had both.
It could have been a spine thing and a head thing.
That's
okay,
right.
But he cleared whatever the protocol is. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you. Are there ways to get past that? I don't know. I mean, if Tua is saying, I'm okay, and the doctor goes, he just passed, and you know what? He came in the second half and he led him to a victory. It's not like he got injured in the second half. Now we go a week later, and he really gets hit hard. I mean, you watch that in fast motion, and you say to yourself, oh, my gosh. Now, I do know this. Once you've had a concussion, you are much more susceptible to have another concussion. That's a fact. But if he finishes that game, and he's passed all of the protocol, how is it clear he should not have been playing? I know the NFLPA is going crazy over this. And I'm glad they're trying to protect their players and in particular Tua. But it's not clear he should not have played. He passed protocol. He got back in the game. They won the game. He played the second half.
And he could have, like we said, he could have very well hurt his head, passed protocol, all those things. It could have also been a concussion from the first game. That's fairly diabolical of a cover-up by the Dolphins as an organization if he did have a concussion in the first game. And it's also very plausible that he got a concussion in this game alone. It's football. A concussion can happen on any one play.
This particular play is so much more violent.
Absolutely. Slam down.
Than the other one. But if you had a concussion, maybe it was a mild one where you could pass the protocol. I'm not a neurologist. I can't tell you what those varying degrees would be. But I can tell you, if you have had one, even if it's mild, you are much more susceptible the next time to get it and to get it even worse. And this one obviously was terrible. The violence of it, the fact that he was prone for a period of time, minutes, and that his fingers did what they did, which is a sign, by what we are told by neurologists, of trauma to the brain and to the spine. So it is really unfortunate. The good news is I believe he traveled back home from Cincinnati on the team plane last night. So he got back all of his faculties and he got back all movement. And so that's the good thing. Now, what's the protocol from here? Because you know darn well the NFLPA is watching. Doctors all over the country are watching. Fans that are worried about players, they're watching. The NFL is worried about lawsuits. I don't know any place again because, I'm not really clear of the protocol of if you've had a concussion, how long is it before you're really 100% ready to go? Isn't there a period of time where you have to wait out? Because, as I said, if you've had a concussion, your susceptibility is greater to get another one, especially if it's recent.
It says 7 to 10 days here, concussion management from the CDC. But the positive about that is that it's a Thursday night game. They got 10 days of rest until they play next Sunday. So certainly a lot of time to get that figured out. And like you said, it's a positive sign. He was released almost immediately by the Cincinnati Hospital, which is not in any way affiliated with the National Football League or the Dolphins or anything like that. No.
And by the way, in the Buffalo-Miami game, he's cleared. It was a neutral doctor there too. It's not a guy who's going, I get paid by the team. I got to get this guy in. And I'll be honest with you. I know doctors who are team doctors. They are looking after the welfare of the player. They're not getting pressured by either schools or by pro teams.
I agree. I think that's a bygone era.
It's a much bygone era because there's lawsuits now, and there is protocol that's written down that you've got to follow. So this is not clear. This is complex. This is gray area city. And for those that just think, oh, man, the doctors and the Dolphins have really screwed Tua, that is just not the case. Now, do we make more rules to protect the quarterback? Because, honestly, the one in Buffalo, he shoved the guy a little bit. It was nothing. He lost his balance and he hit his head hard. That's for sure. But that was nothing. But this one last night with Cincinnati, that was violent. That was a slam down, and went unflagged.
And then a couple plays later, there was a flag on a play. The running back gets blown dead, and then they pick him up by the legs and shut him down, too. So that's a couple of plays by the Bengals defense.
Yeah.
Back to Bengals defense form.
Crazy stuff. That's for sure. Last thing. Even though it's going to cost me money, I want to thank the University of Memphis. It was time to change madness. I have no misgivings, no hurt feelings, I'm going to really miss it. No Memphis Madness this year. Could come back next year. They're doing a block party. You'll still be able to meet the players and get autographs from the players. You get to do all of that. But there's not going to be this thing down at FedEx Forum. And I am okay with that. I think it had run its course. What did Josh Pastner say? It's hard to top yourself every year because they stopped it for a little bit, then they brought it back with Penny. It's okay to stop it for a little bit. This is a nice alternative. It'll be on campus. People will get to see campus for the first time. They haven't seen it in a long time. Good. I'm okay with it. I think it's a good move, and if people really miss it, it'll be unbelievable next year. Maybe they'll have recruits they are trying to sway. Maybe they'll bring in the newest rap sensation that will pack the place. That's fine. I think it's okay to miss it for 1 year. Oh, and then I got to say this. You remember Sister Jean?
I remember Sister Jean.
She is the nun that I guess we could call her the spiritual leader of Loyola of Chicago. When they made that run to the Final Four a couple of years ago, she was front and prominent and delightful and everything else. She's now 103 years old, and she threw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field a couple of days ago. I didn't see any interviews with her. At 103, I don't know if she could be as sharp as she was 4 or 5 years ago, but wow. How about that? And, she underhanded it, but one skip and it got there. Now, she wasn't all the way back, but I mean, that's amazing. In her wheelchair, she threw that thing. I love her.
She's 103 years old. Her first pitch came in a little bit less than 103 miles an hour, though.
Yeah. It was at 10.3 miles.
That's right.
That's what it was. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. A reminder, that spa sale, the greatest spa sale in the history of mankind, it is still going on. I don't know if it'll continue tomorrow because I bet you they do it for the weekend. But this is the last day of September, and Lindsay and all the gang over there, Billy, they cook up stuff all the time. 30% off on in-stock spas, big discounts on the swim spas, and special financing available. Please get to I-40 and Whidden Road this weekend, Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. It's also brought to you totally. I am so happy that our title sponsor is the great company at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road, which is the first exit in Mississippi. You know by now our title sponsor. It's Homer Skelton Hyundai. First off, they got the best product. Homer Skelton always delivers service, but when you've got Hyundais and Genesis that you're dealing with, wow, you've got a product technologically that seemingly lasts forever. And they never, ever charge you more than sticker price. In fact, right now on Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson's, you can get $500 off sticker price, and you will get special financing packages made available to you. All you got to do is get there, go see Chris True and all the gang. Our title sponsor, that is Homer Skelton Hyundai. And this portion of the show is brought to you by AmeriCare. That is a company that started in Sikeston, Missouri in 1981. And they have grown. Oh, my gosh, have they grown. Now they have 133 independent living assisted and memory care assisted living places, and 3 in Memphis that are really different. They're caring. It's not just programs or meals or some exercise. It's all about wellness. It's about making you feel right at home. That's what they do at Memphis South Breeze, which is on Hacks Cross. That's what they do at Schilling Gardens in Collierville. That's what they do at Olive Grove Terrace in Olive Branch, which, by the way, has some special move-in opportunities for you if you're to go there. So this is assisted living and memory care for those of you who may have Alzheimer's. And it's a smaller, intimate community, easier to make friends, really great activities. You can share good times at meal times, and bottom line is you feel like you're at home. And that is as important as anything else. AmeriCare has crafted programs that are all about wellness. Please go see, and you will really have an eye-opening experience. AmeriCare, Southbury, Schilling Gardens, and Olive Grove Terrace. It is, and we're a little late, it is time for our Pick 6 at 10:06. Last week, bad week for me, 2-4. I'm 5-7 now in the year. J-Mo, who was awful the first week, 1-5, was outstanding last week, 5-1.
Made up for it.
You ready? You're 6-6, so you're a game up on me.
And I found our music we played last year while we made picks too, making people money.
Aha. That is very good. I'm glad that you did that. Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to it. Let's start with Alabama and Arkansas. That game in Fayetteville. That game features a 17-point spread. Alabama comes into Fayetteville, a 17-point favorite. Now, I think that's crazy. I think that's almost outrageous. Because I think, you heard it here first, I think Arkansas is going to win straight up. So I'm taking 17 points, and I'm taking the Hogs.
I'm kind of scared of this pick, but I made a promise to myself that I'm going to stop trying to decide if it's a good spot or a bad spot for Alabama and Georgia, and I'm either going to pick them to boat race their opponent or stay away. But this week I got to pick them, so I'm going to take Alabama minus the 17.
Okay. You're taking Alabama minus the 17. Wow. So we differ right there. I love it when you talk like that. All right, second game, A&M at Mississippi State. Bulldogs are the favorite, rightfully so. I'll take Leach over Fisher any day of the week. I'll take that system with Will Rogers. They got the better quarterback. I like everything about this game. I love the fact that it's at down in Starkville. I know it'll be a full house. They stumbled a little bit against LSU. They righted the ship last week. They're going to win this game. They're going to win it by at least a touchdown. I'll give you the points, and I will take Mississippi State.
Same way. I can't get on board with A&M. They got a good defense, but I mean they don't have. I don't think their pass defense is very good. You can't run on A&M. Well, good thing about Mike Leach's offense is they don't run. So I'm going to take Mississippi State minus the 4 as well.
Wake Forest is at Tallahassee to take on Florida State, and Mike Norvell's got his team humming. They're undefeated. They have that big win against LSU. That's the Tigers' only loss so far this year. They are 6.5-point favorites. Wake went to the end with Clemson a week ago. Wake is for real. I'm not sure about Florida State because I don't think LSU was all that good in that game. I'm going to take 6.5 points. I think Wake's going to win that game by a field goal.
That's a scary one for me. Like you said, a 6-point win last week, or a 6-point loss for Wake Forest last week. I'll take Wake too. I'll stay on the same side as you. I was thinking about going the other way, but I can't. I don't trust Florida State at all. I got to take Wake.
All right. Final game, Oklahoma State at Baylor. Baylor's giving away 2.5. Really, that's the home field advantage. This is a great game. This is a toss-up game for sure. I'm going to take the hometown team. I think Baylor will outscore them. That's what I think will end up happening. Give me Baylor, and I'll shed the 2.5. I think they'll win by 7.
I think I'm going to take Oklahoma State here.
Okay.
It goes against everything I believe. I think Baylor's good, and they've lost to some tough teams. Oklahoma State still hasn't played anybody, but I'm going to trust Mike Gundy and them boys.
Okay. So we differ on 2. That's good. NFL, Kansas City at Tampa. I don't understand how the Buccaneers are favored in this game. I guess because they're home. I like Mahomes. Brady looked very pedestrian last week. Maybe the marital problems are weighing on his mind. Maybe his offensive line's not very good, but most likely he doesn't have any receivers that are healthy. Don't tell T.J. Reeves, but I'm going all in. Kansas City, I think they win this game by 10 points.
I think I'm going to take the Bucs. I think he gets a couple, he still has receivers out. He gets a couple back this week, but that defense is really, really good. I can see them keeping points off the board in this one. I'm going to take the Bucs minus the 1, home team in primetime.
Okay, I'm going to go with the home team again in this game, and they're the underdogs in this game, just like the last one. I don't understand the line. How is San Francisco a favorite in this game over the defending Super Bowl champs? Jimmy Garoppolo looked lost last week. And with the Rams coming in, I don't see how he's going to get it all straightened out. I think the Rams are going to win this game comfortably. Wrong team favored here. Give me L.A.
I'm going to take the Niners in this
Wow,
one. Going
man.
against everything I believe. Jimmy Garoppolo looked so bad last week. There's no way he looks that bad again. I just like a home team in primetime. Monday Night Football, I'm going to take the Niners.
Man, that's amazing. We differ on so much here. That is incredible. So we differ on the Alabama game. We differ on the Oklahoma State game. We differ on Tampa. We differ on San Francisco. 4 differences. One of us is going to be happy next week. The other is going to be behind in the race. And those are our pick sixes, partially brought to you by the best place to go. If you're putting action on the game, you know by now how much I appreciate and think of BetUS.com. All of us are looking for places to have a sports book. Now, if you're looking, you want one that is you're sure of getting paid. Right? Isn't that the most important thing? You want one with integrity. You want one with longevity. How about 28 years of doing NFL business? How about NBA, MLB? How about things like European slots with live dealers waiting for you at tables? It's unique, and it's got the best signing bonus of any sports book, 200% on your sign-up. How do you sign up? You say, well, it's easy. You either go to 1-800-79-BET-US, 1-800-79-BET-US, or you go to BetUS.com. And when you do to sign up and you get that great bonus, make sure you mention the promo code SPORTS56Radio. SPORTS56Radio, that's BetUS. And with the chilly weather, I want to recommend to you Conway with the Early Bird Special. It's the last time I'm going to tell you about it for a bit. The Early Bird Special is a $49 system check and tune-up on your heating system. And, of course, they'll check to make sure that you have no carbon monoxide leaks. That's all part of the winter tune-up for your heating system. 384-3511. They're going to put that special Teflon coating outside, too. 16 points inside. It tunes you up. You're efficient. You save money on your energy bill, and your system lasts longer. And right now, if you get it done now, you will save $20 on that tune-up. $49? That's unheard of. Go take advantage. Call 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We take a break. When we come back, our coach, Glenn Rogers Jr., on high school football. He comes your way in a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South T-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Little disclosure, I'm going to play in a golf tournament out at Miramichi today. It's the Solly. It's the last time. It's a fundraiser for Rhodes College. Solly's a great tournament. I think it's like 30-something years, and I just found out it's the last one. But I went out there this week to do a little bit of research and figure out which tee boxes I was going to play. Wanted to sort of tune up my game for this thing. And you know what I found? Miramichi is in the best shape I think it's ever been in. The best for the fairway since Timberlake redid it a second time after a flood, and I mean, it came in beautiful. That's the way it is right now. Greens are perfect. Take advantage. Go see Miramichi. You know how beautiful it is. We're going to be joined by Glenn Rogers Jr. here in a second. You know, he's a big former Tiger. Played for the Tigers, then went to the Canadian Football League. He's been a high school coach, it seems like, forever. I'm sure he could understand the joy Joey Magnifico had last night. But they're both Tigers. And you know who else is a Tiger? That would be Matt Eflin and his insurance team. They do it a different way. They are collaborating with you. They get to know you, your family, and everything else. That is for life insurance. That is for a home program, auto insurance, whatever it may be. Matt gets to know you. Same thing with small to mid-sized businesses. If you need commercial insurance, he's got virtually unlimited access to programs that will protect you. His number, if you want to do insurance a special way, really, really partnership way, 386-GER. Because they're Tiger fans. 901-386-4777. That's the number for the great folks at the Eflin Insurance Team. We are joined now by our friend, Glenn Rogers Jr. Lots of football to be talked about. Let's talk about last night, though. Finally, for Joey Magnifico, his first win, Glenn. The St. Benedict team beat East 52-34. This is just his second year to coach. He's such a young guy, but he finally got a W. I saw some video of it. That joy was for real. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave, and good morning all our listeners. And boy, I tell you, you got to feel good for Joey, former Tiger. You know, and I Dave, I pull for all our former Tigers players that are coaching in the area and around the country. And you just got to feel good for Joey and St. Benedict and his assistant coaches. You know, getting that win up under his belt. And, you know, I saw the video like you did. I was just excited for him and his program.
Me too. And I hope there's many more to come for him. It's hard to just start out. I mean, really and truly, his first coaching job was as a head coach. That's almost unheard of.
It is, Dave. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize, Dave, and you know this because you've been around sports, the league that we're in is a very, very tough league. I think about 15 years ago, sports, USA Today ranked it the 5th toughest league in the country. And so it's a tough league that we play in. There's a lot of big boy football, schools with a lot of facilities and money. And so, you know, he got thrown into the fire. And I tell you, he got baptized early, but I'm so glad he got his first win on his belt.
On the other hand, your guy, your boss, your friend, who's been around for, I mean, the stability at MUS, from Jake Rudolph to Bobby Alston is like 100 years, it seems. I know it's like 45 or 50 for sure. Bobby Alston got his 200th win. Wow, that is really something, huh?
That is amazing, Dave. And, you know, my hat's off to Coach Alston. He's not only, you know, a guy that I work for, but he's a mentor, he's a friend, confidant. And I love working for the guy. I love him personally, he and his wife, Sally, and his 2 kids, Meredith and Drew. And so I've been there for a bunch of these wins. And, you know, our coaching staff has probably been together longer than any coaching staff probably in the state of Tennessee. And so this is Coach Alston's 47th year. And I think it's 25th as the head coach. And so just so proud and happy for him and our program. And like he told the boys last week, 201, the 201st win would be even sweeter because we got Briarcrest tonight.
Right. What do you think it is about Bobby or Jake before him? Because I'm sure Jake taught him a lot. He was young when he was an assistant with Jake Rudolph. What is it about him, you think, that makes it so special there, that he stays and that he's developed so many young guys?
Well, MUS is a very, very special place, Dave. I mean, you got teachers that are here a whole career. Jared Peters was here for over 50-plus years.
Right.
Coach Rudolph was here 50 years. Coach Austin, like I said, is 47th year. And so this just a special place. And I think Coach Austin, a lot of things he brings to the table. He's very, very organized. He's very disciplined on what he wants to do. He wants the boys to be disciplined on certain aspects of the program. He's a big stickler about the school's motto and following the school policies on a lot of things, even on the football field. And so this place is unique, and Coach Austin is one of these very, very unique guys, one of these once-in-a-lifetime guys, him and Jake Rudolph. And I think Jake has really passed a lot of those traditions and things that he instilled and believed in. I think he passed a lot of them on to Coach Austin, and then Coach Austin took some things that he believed in, and now he's sharing it with a bunch of us as well. 200
W's later, that is really special for sure. Okay, you got Briarcrest tonight. Break that down for us.
Well, I tell you, it's a big game day. It's Briarcrest got us last year. We fought back, and Mac Owen, our big-time receiver, dropped a touchdown late in the game. And so my hat's off to Coach Stewart and them last year. But this is a big league game for us. A lot of weapons. We know about Max Carroll, the guy that can do everything, offense, defense, special teams. He's a game changer. So we've got to be solid on the run game tonight. We really got to stop them. And they got a backup quarterback in tonight, so we really got to make him guess and put a lot of pressure on him to make decisions, to make the right decisions. So we're going to have our hands full with Max Carroll and Reed Linder, the other receiver. So they got some weapons, and then we got to do a good job of containing them. And then on offense, we got to sustain the drives, not turn the ball over, and we got to make sure when we get down in the red zone, we have to put points on the board.
Houston is at Germantown. At Collierville, excuse me.
Collierville, yeah.
Because
yeah.
Houston
beat Germantown last week.
Houston beat Germantown last week, which was the biggest upset. You and I both were talking about how Germantown probably would run the table prior to the playoffs. Yeah. Well, not anymore. Houston pulled off.
Not so fast, my friend.
Exactly. But they got Collierville tonight. So here's Collierville 6-0. I'm sorry. Germantown's got Collierville tonight. Germantown's coming off that devastating loss to Houston. Houston's going to take on Bartlett. Tell me about the Houston-Collierville game.
Well, I tell you, the Germantown-Collierville game, right? The
Germantown-Collierville game, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, the Collierville's coming off a big win at Whitehaven. To go into Whitehaven and get a win over Rodney Salisbury, that's a tall task for anyone. And for Collierville and Joe Riccone to go in there and do it, his quarterback, Aiden Glover, has been playing lights out. His defense has been solid. And, tonight, Germantown coming off a loss, but going to Collierville, this is another big league game. And I tell you, I think Germantown may go back-to-back losses because I think Collierville have enough weapons, and defensively they got enough firepower to keep Germantown under control. But I think Germantown's going to have a tough time trying to keep that offense corralled because Aiden Glover is a real good quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the area.
Aiden Glover?
Yes, sir. Aiden Glover. He's a junior.
Yeah. He obviously is special. So you've got Collierville 7-0 if that were to occur. In Germantown, which looked like a juggernaut 2 weeks ago, could lose their second in a row. I would tell you, I don't know. That is such a toss-up game. I cannot tell you who will win. Mm-hmm. Houston now 5-1 after their big shocking upset. Take on a Bartlett team that is really good, but has lost a couple of games now. This one's at Houston. How do you figure this one out?
Well, I tell you, Dave, Houston is. I tell you, they're real stingy on defense. They bring a lot of pressure. They bring guys from certain areas, and if you don't do a good job of picking it up, they will hit you in the backfield. They got good guys on the outside that can cover man-to-man. And then on offense, the running back, he is a special weapon. He got loose on Germantown last week a couple of times. And, Houston's a tough out this year. And, with the game being at Houston, I think Bartlett will come in. It'll be a slugfest. But I'm going to get a nod to Houston. I think Houston has enough firepower, especially on that defense, to get a victory tonight and keep that train rolling.
You mentioned Whitehaven. It's hard to believe that Whitehaven at this point has not won a Region 8 6A game. They're 0-3. They're 2-4. They're taking on Arlington, which is 4-2, and 2-1 in their region. And this game is not in the Haven. It is at Arlington. Are we going to see Whitehaven slip to 0-4 in league play?
No, I don't. I think trying to get a win tonight. I think they've heard all the rumblings, heard all the talk, the negative talk. I think Rodney have his team ready to go tonight. I suspect Whitehaven will be stingy and really PO'd about what happened last week with the Collierville game. I think they'll be ready to go tonight at Arlington. I think Rodney will get off the snide and get his first league win this year. And like you said, Dave, you and I can't even imagine. We can't even go back and remember when the last time Whitehaven started 0-3 in the region. That probably never happened. And so I know Coach Salisbury and his staff and the kids are hearing it. But I think they'll get the W tonight and get their first league win tonight versus a good Arlington team.
Christian Brothers has won 3 in a row. They're now 4-2, 1-1 in the Division II AAA. Here comes Brentwood Academy. We know they're always good. They're 4-2. They have not lost in league play yet. What happens at Christian Brothers at 7 o'clock tonight?
Well, I tell you, Christian Brothers, they looking at the Briarcrest film, they got a potent, I saw them against Germantown early. They got 2 guys that can hit you running the football. Their defense is really, but I tell you, Dave, Brentwood and those teams in Nashville, you're talking about a different animal because they are so football oriented up there. It's football 2-4-7 in that area with the Titans being there. And so those teams in Nashville, I tell you, you're facing a different animal when you're facing those teams. And I think it'll be one of these games that'll be a low-scoring game, but I think Brentwood will pull it out because I just think they got a little bit more firepower on offense. They got a little bit more balance on offense. And
Nashville just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. All that population bringing kids. Seems like the private schools are really, really taking advantage. And we should point out, Macaulay in Chattanooga is also a powerhouse. Yeah. I mean, that's your league.
And Baylor, Dave. Baylor and Chattanooga. Yeah, exactly. They're 2. I mean, like I said earlier, we got a very, very tough league. And, I mean, if you don't know it, all you got to do is go down the teams on our side and teams on the east side. It's a very tough out every week. And so now you're getting into the meat of the league schedule and where the games count and everybody's jockeying for those top spots to have a home game or a bye. And it's just a tough league we're in, and I'm glad we're in it because it's exciting football week in and week out.
All right, last game, we go back to the public sector. Nobody is talking about Craigmont. Craigmont, folks, is 6-0. They are 2-0 in 8-4A. They're taking on a very improved Melrose team, which is 1-0 in league play, 4-1 overall. Looks like Melrose is coming back now. But Craigmont, man, they're averaging over 33 points a game, and they are at home. This one is going to be, I think, high scoring. It should be a lot of fun to watch. Who's going to win it, Glenn Rogers Jr.?
Well, Craigmont, I watched them against Ridgeway, Dave. They're explosive. They're big up front. They got some weapons on the outside. And I just watched them attack Ridgeway. And, Derek Bobo, the coach at Melrose, bringing them back to respectability. They lost a tough one on the road last week. But this is going to be a real, real good ball game. I think I'm leaning more toward Craigmont. I think they'll get the win tonight and keep on the undefeated path. But I tell you, it's going to be a tough out tonight because Derek Bobo, former D coordinator for Whitehaven, he's going to have that defense standing. He's going to have a great game plan to try to combat Craigmont's high-powered offense.
So who are you saying again?
I got Craigmont pulling that
one
out.
Craigmont to be 7-0. Oh, wow. That is really something.
I think Craigmont will get it done tonight.
Glenn Rogers Jr., we thank you so much. Have fun tonight. We'll talk next Friday.
Absolutely, Dave, and go Tigers, go. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, there is a big game tomorrow, which I should mention very quickly. Tigers are, that line started at 20 points. It's down to 18.5. Here's the thing. They can't score. I don't think Temple is anywhere close to being a very good offensive football team. I'm just going to lay it on the line. They got a freshman quarterback who's going to get better and better and is very good at getting rid of the ball quickly. So it will test Memphis's defense, but they can't run the ball. They're averaging under about 90 yards a game on the ground. And this kid's thrown 3 picks already. He is their third quarterback to start the year, and he's moved his way into the starting position. Their defense, however, is pretty good. They're number 3 in the country at sacks, 15 sacks a game. Key is, if you can protect Seth Hennigan, you'll win the game and pretty easily. And I think with some of the things that they're going to do, they will protect Hennigan. I think the Tigers will win that game. The 18.5 is a big number, but Memphis will win this football game tomorrow. Don't forget, it's bright and early. We'll see you about 9 o'clock at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. This portion of the game brought to you by Shell Dunn. Thinking of selling your home? It's crazy out there, but it's not crazy for Shell Dunn. Here's a guy with so much experience, 40 years or more, of watching markets change all the time. He's got a strategy. He adjusts it for every different time of marketplace, and he's got it down. He does. That's why they call him Shell Dunn. Shell Dunn Rosengarten concentrates on selling homes. And he does it. He'll tell you how you should price it. He'll tell you what you might need to fix. If you listen to him, the house will sell. I promise. And here's the other thing. He's one of those guys that say, look, you should talk to 2 or 3 people. But if you choose me, I'm going to move your house. So call him, 483-0546, 483-0546, or you can email him easily at memphisrelocate.com. Very simple. memphisrelocate.com, 483-0546. When you want the job done, call Shell Dunn with Marks Bensdorf. And I know the weekend's here, and I know you need to restock for the football games tonight or tomorrow. Place to go? So beautifully located. Right in the heart of East Memphis, it's the Spirit Shop. That little log cabin at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar, straight down from Clark Tower. You've passed it by a million times. He's got everything in there that you need, from valuable wines to middle of the range to the up-and-comers. Same thing with bourbons or with vodka or gin or tequila. Every spirit. He's got all the local beers, all the local IPAs IPAs that you love. They're all there. All the accessories. If you need something to rim a glass, he's got it. Anything to do with spirit, the Spirit Shop has it. Go see Eddie Connor again at the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. We take a break. When we come back, we'll head to Chicago and talk about the NBA with our friend Andy Schiffman. He comes your way in a minute.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but it's in Wisconsin, so you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions, call them at 901-729-0565. Or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. Come by TSS Supply on Wednesday, October 5th for their official grand opening party. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live, plus have free food and prizes. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to embrace adventure like never before in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $339 a month or $26,390. Get dramatic performance off-road, on-road, and everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross, $409 a month or $31,085. And breakout and standout in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 7 seating capacity. We Gossett at $419 a month or $31,605. Plus, peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.44 APR, 500 military rebate, 4,900 down. Sport NU 017062, MSRP 27140. Cross PC 000695, MSRP 31585. Outlander NZO 84348, MSRP 32105. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Weekend's almost upon us. The NBA season's almost upon us. How about that? Andy Schiffman, our friend down in Chicago with Priority Sports, getting set to join us. I should remind everybody, if you're interested in the Grizz, you better get tickets because they are saying they are nearing an all-time high. Season tickets, they say, are sold out in the lower bowl and the Pinnacle area. Wow, if that's the case, maybe we'll actually get a number of season tickets that have been sold. I'd love to see that, but what that is really terrific. There is a great deal of excitement, that is for sure, and you've got several guys on this team, including Clark and Aldama, that may be battling to be the replacement till Triple J comes back. Andy Schiffman, good morning.
How are you, Dave? Yep, very excited. I'm actually going to go up to Milwaukee tomorrow for their first preseason game against the Bucks, and it sounds like there is a good chance that we might see Santi Aldama potentially in the starting spot tomorrow while Jaren is out. And if not starting, then I think he's definitely going to have a lot of opportunity to play some rotational minutes here in preseason. So it's a new look Grizzlies, but I, for one, am very excited. I know Santi has worked very hard, and obviously Brandon and all the guys. So it should be a really exciting preseason and just get everybody pumped for the start of the regular season.
I've seen Aldama and Clark mentioned. Is in your mind Aldama a better fit for that particular position? I know that's tough for you to say. You got them both.
Yeah, look, it's for sure. Well, look, both players are obviously vastly different. I think Santi has shown the ability to step out and be a threat from the perimeter, where while Brandon is absolutely a capable three-point shooter, the Grizzlies and Taylor do not use him in that way. He's more of a short roll player, elbow, floater, and in dunk box, playing off his athleticism. Very different. And I think Brandon's abilities and skill set complement that second unit exceptionally well. I think he brings extreme energy off the bench. And you saw that in the playoffs against Minnesota, Golden State, et cetera. And so I think there's a huge benefit to bringing a guy like that who's just a ball of energy and athleticism off the bench when you can potentially have someone a little bit bigger, different type of player to come in and start and plug the gap while Jaren is out. And both those guys, especially Santi, Santi understands his role. He's not out there to call his own number and make plays and try and score 20 points. He's out there to be a great passing big man, play hard, run the floor, protect the rim, shoot it when you're open, make the game easier for Ja and for Desmond and those type of guys. So I think you can make an argument either way, and I'm not advocating that Santi should be starting or anything, but I think the way Taylor has structured these lineups, if that is the case with Brandon coming off the bench, I think it fits them well. But look, that's what preseason is for. That's why you experiment as a coach. So we'll see how things go and how they look against Milwaukee.
And I'm not asking you to negotiate on the air here. I'm really not. And if you don't want to comment, we understand. But Brandon Clark has said he wants to stay in Memphis. Do you think in the long run he will be here, and will his future be secured sooner or later?
Well, I really can't speak to the timing of it. Obviously, he is extension eligible. I think the Grizzlies have a lot of things up in the air with their future in a positive way. Obviously, Ja Morant's extension is kicking in fairly soon. They paid Jaren. So they're going to potentially be a tax team. So that also impacts their decision on how much to pay a guy like Brandon. From our side of it, we always evaluate what do we think we could potentially get Brandon in the restricted free agent marketplace. Do we play out this year in hopes to get something more in a time where the salary cap is going to only increase next year? What's his value? So these are all conversations we're having internally. It's hard to say exactly will something get done before the season starts with Brandon or not. It's a little bit too early to say. All I can say is we're having conversations and we'll see how things progress.
Do you think, and I'm asking you from a far view, Robert Parra has become incredibly wealthy with Ubiquity now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because I've heard Zach Kleiman say money's not going to be an issue with this team. If they want to keep a guy, they're going to keep a guy. Do you think Robert Parra is willing to go into the luxury tax business?
Look, I don't know Robert. I've met him a couple times, and he said about 3 words to me. From my viewpoint, Dave, I do think so. I think he's bright enough, and Zach is bright enough, and they've got a great team of people there to understand if you want to win in this league and you want to retain your core group of players and a franchise player like Ja, you have to open up your wallet and pay to keep guys. And in general, you always have to pay a premium to keep your own free agents in your uniform, in your city, lest you risk losing them in free agency, which is always dangerous to develop a young player for the first 4 years of his career, first 5 years of his career, and potentially lose them for nothing. That's always very dangerous. So I would like to think he understands that. Put it this way. Nothing has happened, nor have I seen anything that has given me any indication to think that, you know what, they're just really not willing to go into the luxury tax right now. And then nothing has shown me or given me that indication.
All right. The over-under in Vegas is 48.5 wins for the Grizz. I think it's Boston that's got the most at like 52 or something like that. The Grizz had 56 last year. Of course, they're in this tough West with all these great teams. Can they get to 56 again, Andy Schiffman?
If they're healthy, I think they can. Absolutely.
Wow.
I think if they're healthy, I think they can. Even with Jaren out to start the season, I just think they're so deep. I think they're very well coached, and I think they're very deep. Now, obviously, look, they didn't make any sort of drastic moves this offseason. You lose Kyle Anderson. You retain Tyus Jones. You lose DeAnthony Melton. But you still have that core, right? And if they're healthy, I think they can be one of the top 2 teams in the West. I think they're going to compete with Golden State and Phoenix. And I think 2 of those 3 teams are going to be 1 and 2. It's hard to say what order today. But again, I put the caveat out there, if they are healthy, which is always the common denominator in these games once you get to the regular season, especially the second half of the year after the trade deadline.
I think in that wins over under a little bit higher, and the only one you did not mention in that West was the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard's coming back. Would you place them in there, or what do you think of them?
Look, I think the Clippers could definitely be a contender. I don't know if I put them up with a Phoenix or a Golden State or Memphis in terms of if they're healthy. It will be very fun to watch a healthy Clippers team with PG and Kawhi back. I'm not ready to say they're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the West. I think they can be one of the top 4 or 5 for sure. But as you mentioned, the West is loaded. You've got Dallas. Don't forget about them. If you have everyone on Denver healthy, I think they can be right back where they were a couple of years ago. I think, you talk about Dallas, you talk about Memphis, Denver, Phoenix, but again, where are the Lakers going to be if they're healthy, if they're fully healthy, with a healthy LeBron and a healthy Anthony Davis? Where are the Clippers going to be, like we talked about? And then you have exciting young teams like Minnesota getting Rudy Gobert. What's he going to do to their franchise this season? New Orleans, obviously, they made some noise at the end of the year last year.
That is where I wanted to go next. We know the Mavericks, and I think they're really good, and they got Luka. I think that's a great rivalry for Memphis, but I think New Orleans was supposed to be the great rivalry for Memphis because of the relationship between Zion and Ja. And Zion, in their first practices, apparently has looked incredible. Like he doesn't miss a shot, and he's lost weight, and he's in better shape. How good will Zion, how good will the Clippers, Pelicans be?
I think, they could surprise some people. And I use the term surprise because no one's really talking about New Orleans as potentially one of the top teams in the West. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say all of a sudden they're going to be one or two because, again, you have to think about integrating Zion back into a full season with a team that, look, had success without him last year for the better part of the year. But, man, people forget how good he is. People forget how unstoppable of a force Zion is when he's healthy. So they could be extremely fun to watch. They're very young. They're crazy athletic. We got Garrett Temple there, Larry Nance, Herb Jones, who was a steal of the draft for the Pelicans. They're going to be really, really exciting to watch. And it's hard to say they could be a sleeper per se, but they could be a sleeper in the West and all of a sudden solidify a playoff spot early and really compete for one of the top 5 or 6 seeds in the West and potentially try and win a playoff series. You know, they won that play-in game, if I remember correctly, last year, but they could absolutely make another huge step towards advancing to the second round of the playoffs this season.
Last thing, and we only got a minute, and we skip to the East because it's an intriguing prospect in Brooklyn with KD, with Kyrie, and with Ben Simmons. And Steve Nash said he's so good, Ben Simmons, that he doesn't even have to take a shot. What's that group going to be like? What do you think will happen with Ben Simmons this year?
You know, Ben is an elite defensive player. And it's funny that Steve said that he's so good, he does not even have to take a shot. I think that's a positive way just to basically say your role in this team is going to be to defend 1 through 5, block people up. We don't need you to provide extreme offense. That's why we have a guy like Durant. Kyrie obviously still there. So I don't know. That's always a soap opera. And again, I can't really think of anyone that can stop Kevin Durant. You can sit there and put him up there with the likes of Giannis, obviously, just as good, if not better. But there's not one team I can sit there and say that can shut them down. If they're healthy, they can absolutely compete with Boston and compete with Philly. If they have a cohesive locker room, which is also a huge factor in all this. So, honestly, Dave, I think they could be one of the top 3 teams in the East, and they could also be the 7th or 8th seed. I think a lot depends on health and just the cohesion of that team and the chemistry of that team.
Let the games begin, and we'll be talking about it every Friday. Andy, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You too, Dave. Thanks a lot.
That's our agent in Chicago. That is Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you by the good folks from Grind City. You got it. Weekend's here. You got to grab some Poppy's Pills, that Pilsner. It's going to get a little cooler. Here's your last chance for that refreshing, light, crisp Pilsner. It's what the doctor ordered. Poppy's Pills for that Pilsner from Grind City. My kids like to say ultra crushable. It's available all over town like the Spirit Shop I mentioned earlier in 6-packs or 15-packs. It's best enjoyed ice cold. Best part is it's made right here in Memphis. It says Memphis. Poppy's Pills. That is that wonderful Pilsner. Don't forget, we got football all weekend. Ole Miss, Kentucky starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Brett Norsworthy will be part of that pregame show. Bills and Ravens, Pats and Packers, Chiefs and Buccaneers. Monday night, Rams and 49ers right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We'll see you at Simmons Bank tomorrow. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hey, Jeff Allen